Good evening. Welcome back to Frugal Outdoors with myself, Dylan. And as always, we're out fishing, and we're fishing on the Isle of Wight. The not so sunny Isle of Wight at the moment. It is cold. So it's actually not too bad this evening. It's a relatively mild 7 degrees. Full moon tonight, so even though it is overcast, we've got a nice big tide. So I'm fishing one of my favourite venues, which is Fort Victoria, fishing off the shingle, which is to the right of the point. So hopefully, even though it's a big tide, we should be out of the big tidal flow just a little bit, just enough that I can fish comfortably with 7-ounce grippers and hopefully not lose too much gear. The fishing hasn't been brilliant, in all honesty, on the island, and by the looks of things, it's not been brilliant in a lot of places. I think there's still fish around, obviously. You know, if you're in the right place at the right time, you're still going to pick up a nice fish. So hopefully tonight will be one of those occasions, and hopefully we'll get lucky and get something reasonably decent. I'm fishing my usual setup, which is 2 dial rods, a tournament pro surf, and an air surf, both 13.6. They're both 4 to 8 ounce, and one is slightly tippier than the other, that being the air surf. I've got those paired up with my Shimano Power Arrows, which are absolutely fantastic reels. I've got 58-pound braid with a 60-pound leader. I'm not a fan of fishing straight through, to be honest with you, with the braid. I've spoken to a lot of other people, experienced anglers, and the general consensus seems to be that fishing straight through, because braid has got 0 stretch, that initial shock, that initial impact in your cast is basically all being taken by the rod, whereas the little bit of stretch that you'll have on that leader will just soften the blow a little bit and make that cast a lot more comfortable. Now, I don't always use braid, but when I'm fishing venues like this, which is deep water, notoriously snaggy, I do tend to use a braid. Sometimes if I'm fishing the pier, I won't, because it's not as snaggy and it's still really tidal, and obviously that mono will allow some stretch, so it won't trip your lead, it won't hoop your rod over quite so much. And also that's why using a lead can be beneficial. But certainly, I think it's personal preference, because like I say, what do I know? What works for someone might not necessarily work for everybody. Right, there we go, we're set up. Let's have a look, shall we? Do you know what? It's warm enough that I can actually take my jacket off. Oh, it's really quite nice. I have been busting it at work lately. I'm absolutely knackered. So I thought, what better thing to do than to come out and fish to the late hours of the evening. Right, so bait this evening, bait and tactics. It's winter, and like I said earlier, the fishing is relatively poor, but there are fish around. Notably, there's definitely a chance of a ray, and there's also definitely a chance of a big conger. Not even a big conger, just a conger really. Conger, dogfish, pouting whiting, and the potential of a ray. So with that in mind, I've been into Slamfish Isle of Wight. I've got some mackerel. I've got a frugal special kiss kiss kiss, very large squid. He did tell me what brand of squid it was, but I really can't remember. And I've got a couple of cuttlefish, 3 cuttlefish in there, and I'm more favourable of cutting them in half anyway, so that'll be 6 baits. So I've got plenty of bait for tonight anyway. So I'm going to start off tonight using 3 rigs. I'd like to see if there's some fresh pouting out there, or some whiting. If they're big enough, then I'll obviously take them home. But if I can get some fresh bait, that will be far superior to what I've already got. So with that in mind, I've got a scratching rig, which has got 1 O's and there's chinoos. It's got a couple of glowy beads on there, just to help attract any of those. I do find that some of those smaller fish, the whiting and the pouting, certainly are more attracted to glowy beads, in my opinion anyway. I'm gonna fish pulley pennel, just a standard favourite rig of most people on the beach, which is a 4.0, and then I've got another one there which is a 3.0. And I'll just rotate through those rigs basically. The 3.0s easily will pick up a dogfish, a decent conger if it's hooked well. They've all got circle hooks on the top. But yeah, pretty much the 3.0s and 4.0s, not a lot of difference really. Oh, I'm excited. Excited to be out. And actually, the wind's not too bad. I did plan on coming out last night, but I was too tired. And there was literally no wind. And then I thought, oh, let's go out tonight. And there is wind. So I've had these mackerel out since I got home. So they're nicely defrosted. I'm literally, I think, going to cut it in half. Well, I say nicely defrosted, they're partially defrosted anyway. Cut it in half again. So I'm gonna have a nice fillet of mackerel. It's not really a bait I use very often, to be honest, which seems crazy, I know, but I tend to do a lot better with sardines, anchovies, you know, stuff like that. But having said that, it's probably because I use them more. And let's chop a nice strip of this squid. Oh God, that's a toughie. Oh, that's got some guts in it. There we go. So I've got a piece of mackerel and a piece of squid, roughly the same size. It's not exact, but yeah, it's close enough. Stick those on me prongs. Quickly whip it up. Yeah, I feel lucky tonight. So the fishing isn't brilliant this time of year. I always do wonder why. When I first started fishing, you come out and you think, well, I've got bait. There's the sea. Surely I'm going to catch some fish. And as we all know, that's not always the case. But with any luck, it will be tonight. Hopefully the fishing gods will be on our side. This is still a little bit frozen, so it gives me the ability, I can shape it a little bit. So we can get ourselves a really nice bait. Still using the Baitex, which is a latex rather than an elastic. Just a little bit better for the environment. And it goes an absolute mile. Right, I think we'll pop that one on the 4.0. It's a bigger bait. And what I'll do, slightly bigger bait on the 4.0, which I'll be fishing on the heavier rod. And then slightly smaller baits on the lighter rod. I always use imps on my rigs. I just find them a little bit more reliable in the sense it's always going to come unclipped. Granted, sometimes it might be in the air, but normally that's the caster, not the imp. And all of these rigs are available from frugal.od.co.uk and SlamfishIOW of Wight. There we go, so I'm just binding that on. Hook's nice and proud, which is not really very difficult to do when you're using a 4.0 Aberdeen and a 4.0 circle. There we go. Look at that, beautiful. Wow, look at that. Search and rescue. Hopefully, they're just out training. There we go. All clipped up, ready to go. Mackerel and squid, really, really neat. And with any luck, we'll get a fish on the first chuck. Wind's pretty much blowing in my face, it's easterly, which isn't very much fun. But like I say, I'm gonna cast this one straight and basically see where it goes. Because this sort of area of the Solent is notorious for back eddies swirling around. So I'll just chuck it straight in front of me, see where it goes, and then I'll I'll chuck the other one out accordingly. Wow, by the looks of things, staying pretty much in front of me. Not a lot of tide running at all at the moment, which is pleasant. But no doubt through the evening that will change. Right, let's get the other one sorted. Awesome, right. So I think I am just going to chuck out scratching rig. Just first off, try and get a bite, try and get the confidence up. It's always nice just to get a fish, even if it's a pouting. Always makes you feel a little bit better about coming out and not blanking. Although it still could happen. So we are fishing pretty much to the top of the tide. It's 7 o'clock now. We're going to fish till like 11-ish. You know what it's like. Might be 11, might be 12:30, might be 12. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off a couple of these tentacles. I mean, these would be amazing for the bream fishing in the summer. So hopefully Nobby will still be getting them in. So the scratching rig's really, really simple. It's basically just a 2-hook flapper, short-ish snoods. Like I say, I'm fishing a deep water venue here, so I certainly don't need too much flapping around and risking getting snagged. And all I'm doing is hooking through the top of the tentacle, straight through the top, go all the way through, loop around and come back in. They're nice and tough, so these are going to stay on there really, really well in the cast. Right, let's get this out and then we're fishing properly. Incidentally, I do get asked quite a bit about my tip lights, and I do sell those online as well. 2 for £9, I think it is. 3 different sizes. The small ones you get extra batteries, just because I've got loads of batteries. Right, let's get this one out too. That is bang straight in front of me, so I'm going to stick this one over that way a little bit, see if we can't pick up something. Ah, there we go, really happy with that. Considering we got a really big tide, I think that was me. Considering we got a really big tide, they're fishing really well. So there we go. Right hand rod, scratching rig at the moment. Left hand side, the bigger bait. I'm going to bait up that 3/0 pulley pennel now with basically the same bait. I've just got to wait for those cuttlefish to defrost just a little bit. So I'm going to bait that up again with a mackerel and squid. And then we'll shift on to the cuttlefish just as soon as it gets soft enough. Yeah! There we go. So that's my 3rd rig. I'll hang that from my tripod and then I've got a rig ready to rock and roll. But I've had a bite on each, well, I say a bite, there's been movement on each rod. That is one of the drawbacks of using braid, is you do see everything. So it could have just been a tiny little bit something hitting the line on the way past. Look at that, I put my rig bar on upside down. Yeah, it'd be nice to get a fish straight off, wouldn't it? I'm gonna have a look. It's gone a couple more times. And there might be a dogfish just sat on it. Might be nothing sat on it. Well, we've got a bit of weight. Could be weed, who knows? I'm not gonna make any predictions until I've got it up. But there's some weight there, that's for sure. There we go. Let's go and grab him. Mr. Dogfish. He's probably been on there a while. There we go. Well, that's a blank saver. It's only a dogfish, but you know me, I'll take it. We saved a blank. Well, that little beauty. Right, let's get this back in. Let's get another bait out there and see if we can't get another one. That's early as well. First cast on that rod, so I'm chuffed about that. Let's get another bait in the water. Ah, there we are. First fish of the session. While I've got you, I did want to say thank you ever so much. We did hit the 5,000 subscribers earlier in the week. I just want to say thank you ever so much for all of your support. It's been amazing. Anyone who's watching now and you haven't subscribed, please do. It does really help the channel, helps push the videos out there. And it will really put a big smile on my face if we can keep progressing. I never really thought we'd get to the 5,000, to be honest. It's been a long and slow journey, but we got there in the end, so thank you ever so much. Well, hopefully that's not going to be the only bit of action we'll get tonight. Be nice to get a couple more. So we've got 2 pulley pennels out there at the moment. 2 pulley pennels, one's a 4.0, one's a 3.0. And then we've got half a mackerel on one. I mean, it's not a massive one. I would say it's more like a joey, but it's bigger than a joey. You know when you buy a packet of mackerel and you get 3 mackerel? It's one of those. Not when you get a pack of mackerel and there's only one in it because it's absolute giant. And then the other one's just got a squid and mackerel wrap. I'll get that scratching rig out again in a bit. See if we can't pick something out. Wow. That was a nice bite, that was strong. That wasn't a dogfish. I was just sat here thinking, oh, I haven't had a bite since that dogfish, which was about, I don't know, 15 minutes ago, 10, 15 minutes ago. Just thinking about changing this one and then it just went. Nice strong bite. Again, I am on braid, so it can be a bit deceptive. Oh, well into February as well now. It's another 7 weeks, I think, and then if we do get into a bass, we'll be able to keep it. Depending on size, obviously. So that would be quite nice. And then, yeah, April should be looking at potentially trying to get on some bream, getting a sib out, getting on some bream. Hopefully getting some early smooth hounds. I've got the best part of 20 spider crab, peeler spider crab in the freezer, ready to go, saved from last year. So hopefully, as soon as there's some reports of a smooth hound, we'll be able to go out and try and get one. That was a nice bite. There's a few other people fishing tonight. There's some people fishing off of Fort Victoria off the wall there, and there's a few people down on Norton Wall as well. But yeah, I opted for the shingle. Well, whatever that was, hit it and ran. It's gone. I say that. That's gone quite slack. Well, I think we got it. I thought it was going to be bigger though. It's definitely not very heavy. So I think it might just be a little strap conger. Well, it's on the surface already. Oh, don't know what it is. Not even sure if it's still on, you know. No. No, missed it. Too keen. Too keen, I should have left it. Ah. Oh. Ah, gutted. Anyway, well, it's nice to be getting the bites. Let's see if we can't hook something else. So far we've had bites of cast, so I think that might just been another dogfish just holding on to it. Look, you can see there. Well, I'll just put the scratching rig out, so see if we can't get a bit of fresh bait. And I've filled up my bag of cuttle, filled it up with some seawater to try and get it to defrost. But yeah, that was a shame. But something definitely smashed that. Smashed it, we missed it, and then I don't think it was the same fish. I think something else came along and started having a little nibble. But anyway, let's not dwell on it. Just get a fresh bait out there. Well, we got it. It's only on a scratching rig. There's not a lot of bait on there. I think it's more likely a conger, but could be a dogfish, I suppose, curled up in a ball. There we go. It's coming in. What we got? It is a dogfish. Huh. There we go. Right, now we're starting to get into a couple. Only another dogfish, but hey, we'll definitely take it. I think I'm going to end up having to change that mackerel head. I think it's been out there for a little while now, since I had that first dogfish. It's not budged, so I think I'm going to freshen it up, and then I'm going to be able to bait up some cuttlefish. Yeah, let's change that while we're there, and then I can bait up those two rigs. Making sure I got my drag set. You never know, I might get a decent conger again. Do not want it to pull all my gear over. Right, 2 fresh baits out there. Let's rebait the other 2 rigs and keep going. Yeah, this is fun, I'm enjoying it. I know I said I was going to bait up the cuttles in halves, but that's a whole cuttle there. Circle hook gone through the ink sac at the very end of the body, and then I've pierced all the stomach with my scissors, so there's loads of that orange gunk oozing out of it. So that will go out next. And hopefully we can try and find a conger. We've just got so we've got a little slack line then. Oh, that's a bit better. That's coming easy now. Oh, thought it was something really decent then for a moment. Still feels heavy, but They might have been wrapped up on something. Well, it's putting up a bit of a scrap. What we got? Have we got our conger? That'd be nice. Yeah. Yeah, we have. Oh, it's got to be a couple of pound. And some, I would have said. Maybe £3. Nice. There we go. We got our conger anyway. Beauty. I don't know, it's probably about £3.5. I don't know. I don't think it's £4, but anyway, not too bad. Definitely put up a bit of a fight on the way in. But anyway, let's get this one back in the water. See if we can't get something else. It's been quite busy really for a February night. Absolutely. Hands are absolutely covered in slime, but hey ho. That's all part of the course, isn't it, when you're handling congers? I'd say, not a giant, but I'll definitely take it. Right, let's get that scratching rig back out. Probably only fish that scratching rig one more time and see if we can't get some fresh bait, and then I'm just going to fish panels for the rest of the night. Oh, look at this one. So what I've done, rather than baiting up the mackerel head's hole, this time I've cut it straight down the middle, but look at that. Look how much blood's coming out of that still. Awesome. They must have been like super fresh frozen. But I can't wait to throw that out. So that's half a mackerel head. So basically a quarter of a mackerel really. And then a little bit of squid wrapped up the side. Thought I was getting a bite then. Oh, that left hand rod is ever so close to the pier. Hopefully that tide is obviously backheading at the moment. It's going right to left, but hopefully very shortly it will go left to right. It just swirls around all over the place here. I think it's just because the water's so deep and it funnels up, so it sort of shallows off a little bit to my right. But when I say shallow, you know, it's still like 20-30 meters deep further out. I'm probably still fishing in maybe 30 feet of water, I would have thought, 30-40 feet. When you're fishing off the wall over there, you're fishing in 60 to 80 feet really quite easily. But yeah, they're definitely moving around out there at the minute. In fact, that one's moving because I'm getting a bite. So I always fish with 7 ounces here, because the way that the tide moves around that lead, if you're not anchored to the bottom, it will just roll around, and when it starts moving and rolling around, that's when you really do risk losing your gear. That's why I do fish a little bit heavier, because that way I can still bend out a hook, snap a clip, you know, break my rig. I'd rather break my rig than leave leader out there or leaving loads of braid out there. Yeah, fish a heavy lead and wind like mad. Right, I'm gonna have a look at this one. Like I say, it did go right when I was talking to you, but I've got that cuttlefish ready to go out. Oh. And yeah, I want to get that out. Like I say, we've been fishing for 2 hours. So it's 9 o'clock already. Right, nothing on there. So let's get this cuttlefish out. Big old stinky cuttlefish. See if we can't find one of those big congers lurking about somewhere. Right, what is this? Oh yeah. I'm going to bring that scratching rig in a minute. Like it says, the last cast was it anyway. I've got plenty of bait, but I always chuck a scratching rig out just in case I can get some fresh bait to chuck out there. But I'm not going to fish with it all the way through the night. Generally, I'll just fish with it halfway through, and then I'll just fish with some bigger baits. Right, let's stick this one. This is this mackerel head. the mackerel, half a mackerel head. Let's stick this one straight in front of me, I think. Can feel it hit, which is nice. Do like feeling it hit the bottom. Well, I must admit, it's gone a little bit quiet. I really thought that mackerel head, the way the blood was oozing out of it, might have produced a fish. This cuttle's been out there a little while, I might change that. Look at that. Look at that. That is all the stomach out of that squid. Huge, great big bait. Not even the head, just the stomach. Just all the guts. Right, I think I'm gonna have to bring this one in. Yeah, let's bring this one in, freshen her up. Right, let's get this gross little sack of stuff out there. Oh, that is actually gone in my mouth. Note to self, when casting a big sack of crap out there, like a big ball of squid guts, don't cast it with your mouth open. Whew. Tell you what, that temperature's dropped now. Crikey. Right, coat's got to go on. It's bloody cold. Haven't done too bad. Managed to get to 10:30 before having a coat on. Right, I'm going to bait that up again. Yeah, hopefully, just keep trying, really. There is some tide out there now, that's for sure. Oh yeah, hopefully it will stop in a minute. It's really pulling. I've got this sort of drag on my reels, and every now and again I can hear it clicking because it's just pulling line off. But not loads, but enough to notice it. I mean, I'd like to think it's doing that because there's a fish on there, but I really don't think it is. Oh, was that a bite? There we go. That is the last bait to go out. I think this tide has turned already. I mean, according to the apps and all of that, we've still got another 2 hours, but it's absolutely hooning at the moment. But it's still, looking at the tide line, there's still a little bit of way to go, but I don't know. Anyway, last one, lucky last cast, let's see if we can get another fish. Got a feeling the one on the left tripped and it started bouncing. But it looks like it may have found its little hook hold, but that also could mean it's found a snag. But yeah, I'm really surprised it's moving so hard as it is now. But anyway, we've got 2 baits out there. I'm gonna have a little tidy of my area. Hopefully we get a fish, but if we don't, then it's not been too bad anyway. Ah, well, there we go. I'm going to call it. We didn't get that one more fish, unfortunately. But that tide is absolutely ripping. So I've packed one of the rods away already anyway. And I'm going to bring that one in a second. So not too bad. Like I say, we had a few fish, a couple of dogfish and a conger. I'd love to put a bit of a bend in the rod anyway. Certainly better than my last session, where I only had a couple of pout really. But yeah, cold, man. Middle of February, so with any luck, we'll start getting some warmer weather and some warmer water, and hopefully it'll bring in some of those other species. The next little bit of nice weather, I'll try and get the sieve out if it's a weekend. Again, I just want to say a massive thank you to you all for all of your support, helping me to hit that 5,000 subscriber mark. It's a real milestone, and it's really appreciated, honestly. But anyway, let's pack this other rod up and get on home. So until the next one, please take care, stay safe, and maybe I'll see you out there. Cheers.